Could be across the way there. I'm not really sure.
All right, what's up,
Well,
guys?
how's it going, man?
What's up,
Good,
John?
man. How you guys doing?
Good, man.
Good. Can you
What's
hear
all?
us, or is that chainsaw really
Nah, man,
loud?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks all lush and everything back there. Looks great. Love it. Let me tell this cat to hang on here so that he's not blowing me up on Skype. Get out of there. Uh, all right, cool. So it should cut out of there, and then that'll give us all the bandwidth I need to record this. Have you guys used Zoom?
No.
No.
Man, this is so awesome. It works
Well,
so
if it
great.
works today, I'll use it going forward on stuff.
Yeah, it's like so less janky than Skype, and it's good bandwidth and all kind of stuff. So,
Nice.
yeah, here's what I was gonna do. So I was just gonna do like an informal sort of like just chat with us, and then use it to promote the stuff next week, and I'll probably put it on YouTube as well if that's cool.
Okay, sure.
So, okay, awesome. So let me record, and we should be good. Okay, so yeah, cool. We're recording. So awesome. So, hey everybody, it's John Tarr. I'm here with Gerry and Rob. We're just going to chat a little bit. I've known these guys for a while. I don't even know, like, where did I meet you, Gerry? It was like
Oh
some.
God, it was. I think it was at an event, an SEO event in San Diego. You remember who that was speaking? Somewhere, and
Wasn't
you
it
guys, you were,
Esdras maybe and Perry?
yeah, you were
I think it
speaking at
was,
the event.
yeah, you were speaking. Jason Drone and Mike Hill were running it. I forget the
Okay.
name, like Level Up or something like that.
Okay, so yeah, it was. Yeah, I remember, but it's been a long
2 years
time,
ago.
so I couldn't remember. And then I thought
I
I'd
think we
saw.
linked up before that, but I think that was the first time we met in person.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was kind of thinking, and it's been, you meet people, and then it's been so long ago, and it's all cliche because you're like, hey, these guys are my friends, but then you're like, yeah, we really met and hung out and all that kind of stuff. So I remember. So this is super informal, and I want to talk about your stuff. We're not really going to get into like the actual content and stuff like that of the training because people will see that. But here's what I want to talk about. You guys, I remember, Gerry, when you called me because you were going to roll out this program. And, so like you were doing software stuff, you weren't really doing teaching stuff. What made you decide that you wanted to teach? And I know, Rob, you've kind of been in the industry for a while, but people always ask, well, why do you teach it? So I'm curious, why do you guys teach it?
Well, for me, it's just been sort of a natural progression to teaching. It's one of those things where through the years, yeah, you're right. We've done product launches, and I had, top rankings in SEO, and I was a consultant, and as a web designer, I was before that I was an artist. So I've like just through the last 16 years now, just played, wore so many hats and did so many different things. But it was one of those themes throughout my entire career where everybody who knew me, everybody who cared about me, they saw what I was doing, but they would always come to me and be like, man, you should really teach this stuff because when you talk, people get passionate about it. I mean, you're so passionate about it that people get excited and they get motivated and you really know how to communicate things so it's easy to understand. And so I kind of rejected that for a long time. I don't know, for whatever reasons. I just stayed on path with whatever I was doing. But this sort of just happened organically because I had so much success on Facebook with Facebook ads, and and then I just decided with a friend of mine that I was just going to do a local event with like a dozen or so people at my house in San Diego. And when they left my house after the weekend, 60% of them were making over $2,000 a day within 30 to 45 days. And I realized at that moment, it's like, damn, it's like, man, this is really something. Decided to roll that out now to, over a couple thousand students, and we're seeing the same kinds of success. And, I just enjoy it. I love it. I love the connection that I get with people. I love the stories that are coming naturally out of this, where these success stories like Bonnie, who she's a 62-year-old. I hope I get that right because she got mad at me for like saying 63 last time. 62-year-old grandma, who's after 90 days in the program is doing $19,000 a day and was the number one affiliate on the big vendor network ClickBank, and to have all these success stories just rolling in, it just on a higher level of just happiness and just like pursuing whatever it is we're after in life, teaching, mentoring, and bringing change, like massive change in people's lives, is so rewarding. Once you get to the point where you're financially free and chasing money no longer really does it for you, because that's what happens, right? There's something else that reveals itself to you. It's something bigger where you're doing something more important, and I think for me that means touching lives, changing lives, and that's mainly why.
Yeah, that's all. How about you, Rob?
What he said. No, just kidding. No, I get a kick out of it. It's fun to work directly with people. When you're just doing stuff on your own, you get bored. You get lonely. It's easy to be an entrepreneur and just kind of go into your cave and not be so social. And I get a lot of I enjoy interacting with people who are doing similar types of stuff. I don't know, like before I got into internet marketing, I was doing totally unrelated stuff. And what happens is once you start to have success in internet marketing, a lot of your old friends, you have a harder time. You can't relate to each other as well because they're going to a job and I'm traveling, I'm doing all this stuff. And then just having a normal conversation with some of my friends, it's just, I don't know, the dynamic shifts. And then people settle down and get married and have kids and stuff. And it's just nice to connect with a lot more people who are interested in doing the same types of stuff and have the same types of mindset. And it's kind of cool to just like, I don't know, have like a platform and have people listen. So I've done it a few products in the past and I just enjoy it.
Yeah, it's really cool. I have a friend of mine who talks about, like you guys were saying, the impact, right? Being able to make an impact. And I want to talk about something about that in a second, but I want to ask you guys, so you live in Bali. That's where I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. You guys are in Bali right now. It's beautiful. It looks awesome. How long have you guys lived there and why do you live in Bali? Like, why not? I'm looking at the picture, but
this is my living room wall behind us here.
Should we stand up and do a 360?
Sure. Yeah, you want to hold this?
Yeah, let's see it.
Yeah, so we can kind of, we got broadband internet throughout here. See if I don't know if I have to actually stand outside to get a nice view here, but I mean, it's beautiful. But I mean, the short and simple answer is that Bali is just a fucking amazing place. It's beautiful. Everything about it is like, what's not to love? Sorry, Rob. Like, what's not to love?
Rob, yeah.
Down, but I mean, I have a huge big villa here, and the people are amazing. The food is amazing. It's a great place to do personal development and become more evolved. Get more spiritual and, get into meditation and whatever, a lot of women are into like yoga around here, guys too. It's just a great environment all around. And by the way, just to clarify a couple things, Rob doesn't actually live anywhere per se. Yeah. He's more like a traveling nomad.
The digital nomad thing.
Yeah. So he's here now, and then in a few weeks, he'll probably jet off to some other amazing place, Thailand or Vietnam or Philippines or Japan or Europe.
Oh, that's awesome.
We both travel a lot, but for me, this is like my home base. Like, this is actually my home where I live. I've been here for 10 months. Rob's been in Asia for a year and a half now?
Yeah, so probably close to 2 years, just traveling on and off to different countries.
Yeah. What's your favorite, Rob? Where's your favorite place?
I tend to bounce back and forth between Bali and Thailand a lot.
Okay.
But I like a lot of the countries throughout Southeast Asia. I traveled through Europe a bit too, but I kind of tend to gravitate back towards Southeast Asia because I like the tropical weather, and it's like all your money is so like if you have $100,000, you're like a millionaire in Asia. If you have $1 million, you're like a billionaire.
It's like an easy hack to like 5 to 10x your quality of life just through the financial aspect alone. and you can delegate. You can, I mean, I have a staff here. Well, I don't even know how many staff members I have here, but it's roughly like a dozen, and I'm probably going to, get more because I have another villa here that I'm doing a project with. And so you can start delegating every aspect of your life way more easily and without as much guilt as if you're in America, you'd have to spend 30 grand a month to do it. Here you can spend 3 grand a month or less, even, and just delegate everything. So, I mean, there's a lot of benefits to it. Um, yeah, I couldn't even really begin to list off all the different benefits that keep us here, that drew us here, and then, eventually that keep us here.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think that's one thing that's pretty awesome about working online is just being able to, you're virtual, right? And it's got its pluses and minuses. Like when I closed the laptop, I'm married now with a toddler, but when I first met you guys, you close the laptop and you look around and it's like all your friends are in the laptop, right? Because you're virtual. But at the same time, you can go and you can do anything, anywhere. Do you find a lot of people that come through your trainings, that's kind of what they're looking for, is a virtual thing, or is that just great for you guys?
Well, you mean like the traveling kind of virtual thing, or just
Well, just
virtual?
basically just being able to kind of do what you want when you want,
All right.
sort of
So
virtual.
every person that we talk to, we ask the same question. It's like, what is it, that drives you? Like, why do you wake up in the morning? That whole question line. Why are you here? Why are you working so hard? You could go, have this easy job and make money and be comfortable. So what is it that makes you work so hard and try to like break out of the norm? And it's always some version of the answer is always like freedom. So people want freedom. And when you have to wake up at 6:30 in the morning and get in your car and go to a job, and they tell you if you're 1 minute late or 5 minutes late 3 times that you lose your job, and those kinds of, that's not like freedom. People really want to have freedom. There's different types of freedom. They want financial freedom. They want freedom of their time. They want to be able to hop on a plane, fly first class if they want to. Why not? Go to a different country, spend time, not have to worry about, having to go back, in 7 days or 9 days. And they want to have the freedom to pursue their passions, the real passions, like why they feel like they're here on this earth. And they want to be able to help the people that they love and that they care about when somebody comes into a situation where they need help. And, everybody lives in that space. If you don't have financial freedom and you don't have like this sort of like, a lot of it depends on your ability to be mobile, and to be able to have like, what do they call that? Like
location independent business.
Exactly. So if you're location independent, you can, I mean, we used to have conversations, Rob and I, about being mobile. And it was like, yeah, we can carry our laptop. We can basically be completely location independent and carry a laptop. And then after we started traveling, now it's like we leave the laptop at home. It's this right here. This is our entire business is right here. We can do 99% of, other than doing like a recording like this with you, the interview. I mean, we could probably even do that from the phone. I don't know, but it's really freeing to be able to do that.
Yeah, yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's unbelievable. Now, here's a cool question, or I think it's a cool question, because I don't think people understand that when you coach, like, people sort of like, oh, why do you coach? Everything's so great. Why do you coach? But when you coach, you're putting yourself out there, right? I mean, you're putting yourself out there, and people don't realize when you do that not everybody loves you, right? Like you get some feedback, let's say. Um, I'm curious, what bothers you guys the most about putting yourself out there and getting negative feedback? Does anything bother you about that? Rip off reports, Rob Jones scam, anything like that?
Honestly, I've never seen any negative feedback personally. We do have a support layer where somebody, like people can like submit, support tickets to our support staff.
Yeah.
So it's possible, I'm sure people complain about, certain things here or there, but I've never had, I mean, listen, I mean, we have like on ClickBank, 8 out of 10 of the top super affiliates on ClickBank are students. We're bringing like real value to people.
Yeah.
And we have a culture, where our students feel like, they're part of something, a sort of a family. We really bring, a lot of caring to our students and to our tribe, and it doesn't breed very much of what you're talking about, those kinds of the negativity things that I've become accustomed to seeing in other businesses that we've done in the past, where there's just a different type of clientele that we work
somehow
with.
we stumbled onto something that's like, we've done products in the past that worked. We did one product. We came up with an idea. It was like a simple little way to make a few $100 here and there. And it totally worked, and people bought it, and they made a lot of money, or not a lot of money. A lot of them made money very fast, small amounts of money, but it was the amount. We didn't promise big amounts of money. We said you can make small amounts of money. And so it did exactly what it was supposed to, but we got such a negative crowd that came in, and it was high volume, ton of customers, and you just get a ton of negativity with, I don't know, in that sort of market. But for some reason, we've just kind of tapped into a vein here where we've just got the right kind of energy, where the majority of our customers who come in just have a really good attitude. They're not making excuses, or they want to work hard. Obviously, the goal is to not work so hard, but you work hard so you don't have to work hard later. And we've just gotten people who they understand it, they buy into it, and we've started to build a really good team. There was kind of a rocky area in the beginning. Both of us had a parent pass away within a few months, less than 6 months into the program. And so we had a couple of months there where we kind of checked out a bit, and we weren't able to communicate as well. And we had to recover from that, but people were very understanding. We were very open and honest, and, people understand these kind of things happen. So
the other thing I would say real quick though is, like, I know what you're talking about, John, I think, because I see this constant stream of people on social media, like on Facebook, that are this really knocking mentoring and coach, especially coaching. They're knocking it. I haven't really gotten too involved in that conversation, or my mind wrapped up into it, because, for multiple different reasons. I think, for one, people have a limiting belief system in place, and it's not really their fault. I mean, society and just the nature of internet marketing and the messages that come out there, the hype and all that stuff, and people making, false claims or questionable claims, it plays on people. People become jaded, and they see that, and they assume that everybody is out to, make a buck off of them. And I think that Rob and I, and probably you as well, are in this unique situation where we're not chasing money anymore. When, again, like I talked about earlier, when you hit a point where you have financial freedom, you're no longer driven by money. So it's not like a desperation that's driving you. It's like it's something bigger, something more important. And so we really do care about helping people. If we say that we're going to do something, if we're going to coach you, like, we're not going to do it. Like, I won't have coaches or mentors come on board if they're not personally making at least $1,000 a day.
Mm-hmm.
If I was desperate to make money, I would just recruit a bunch of different mentors in there and make more money. I'd sell more, but it's not like that. Rob and I are not desperate to make money. We're trying to build something real here, if that makes sense. So
yeah, I think it does make sense. And now with that, who are some of because like you said, you can't trade money for some of these testimonials and some of these success stories when you're able to impact somebody. Who are some of the ones at the top of your mind? I don't want to say favorite, because I'm sure you love them all. But
I know who's my favorite. No, I know what you mean. Well, I'll give you one. Then I'll give you one. My all-time favorite one right now, and I think that you should share this link with your audience, because it doesn't even sound believable. You have to hear it from her own mouth, and see the interview that I do with her. It's really, really impressive. I think it was this girl, a 22-year-old girl who never had a job. She'd never made money online before. She had all these things stacked against her. She had a limited belief system. She didn't believe in herself. English was her second language. She didn't have any money to get started. And also, the big one is that she's also has cerebral palsy. So she's disabled, and people look at her like she's mentally disabled. In fact, she's really not mentally disabled. She's just physically disabled. I was able, before I rolled out our mentor program, and we have, some different programs that we work with people on different levels. Before doing that, I wanted to really prove that anybody is coachable, you know, that can be mentored to success. And I took on that challenge of mentoring her because I thought, man, she has everything stacked against her. And if she can do it, if I can mentor her to success, I can mentor anyone to success. And to be honest, I believed in her because she had this drive, this ambition that she was like, her own mother doesn't even think she can graduate high school. You know, it's like, if you just graduate high school, I'll be proud of you. But she had a bigger dream for herself. And she told me her dream was that she wants to inspire people. She goes, I know that sometime in my life, I'm going to be an inspiration to people. I don't know if it's just other disabled people. And she has a speech impediment too because of her brain damage, you know, that she got when she was an infant, you know, being born. But, anyway, so even her own mother didn't think she was going to graduate high school, but she believed that she was going to make a difference in the world and inspire people. And if you watch that video, I think you'll be inspired. I think that thousands of people are being inspired by her story. That's why it's my favorite right now. And it also goes to show that there is nothing standing in your way. If you have somebody who believes in you, you have a coach who believes in you, who knows the answers, who's been down the path that you're headed down right now. You know, we were able to overcome her financial issues of being able to get into the program and spend money on you know, to make money. We were able to overcome her mindset deficits. We were able to overcome her language, you know, English as a second language barrier. And every single thing that was stacked up against her together, you know, through mentoring. I didn't do anything for her, but I showed her the way, and she was able to do it herself. Within a short time, she was making over $1,000 a day. And now she's making over thousands of dollars a day. I don't even know how much now. She's doing it on her own without us. You know, she's on her own now. We taught her to fish, and she's doing it, and it's life changing. Just the amount of just confidence that she has now, and her family, they don't look at her like a disabled girl anymore. They look at her like she's the most successful person in their family. You know, it's amazing.
Yeah,
amazing, man.
That's awesome. That's a good story, and I'd love to have that link. By the way,
I'll send it to you.
And how about you, Rob? Who's one that's top of mind for you?
Well, probably one of our most successful students is Bonnie that Gerry brought up a few minutes ago. Our 62-year-old grandmother. She'd never had any success online, but she tried everything. So she's been struggling for, I don't know, 5 years or something like that, trying all different kinds of stuff, no success. She's not very technical, so she's not good at website stuff or anything like that, but we simplified everything as much as we could. And she got in there, and she struggled at first, but she came into the program, and she took advantage of some of the help that we have in there. We have, you know, live Q&As, and we have some interactive sort of review things that we do in there. She took advantage of that, and she was able to break through her barriers. And then she went on to become the #1 super affiliate on the entire ClickBank network as a 63-year-old grandmother.
62.
Oh, sorry, 62.
Now she's toting like a big fat Rolex that she won from one of the offers, and she won't wear it because it's too heavy for her wrist.
Wow.
She's like a grandma. We tease her about it.
And now she's become one of our mentors, and several other students who went on to have a lot of success came on and became our mentors, and they'll come on and do the live Q&As weekly. And so it's cool because it's become this community where everybody, we've sort of generated this spirit of giving back. So a lot of people gravitate to that, and they feel that energy. And so, you know, the question you had earlier about the stuff that you don't like about the internet marketing space, that sometimes you get the negativity. We've somehow managed to find this sweet spot where we just draw in that right kind of energy and the right kind of people. And if people don't have that kind of energy, then they typically aren't really drawn to it, or they just leave.
Yeah, it makes sense. I saw you guys had, like say, you reached out to me, Gerry, I don't know, a couple of years ago, whenever it was, before you guys were going to roll this out, and we chatted a little bit. And then in December, I saw you had made some posts about some really awesome success, and the program was closed. But I could feel there was like something going on. You know, there was like this energy, as you would say, and not to get all moogie foogie over here, you know, but it was like, wow, it was really cool. And then when Andy reached out to me, I was like, oh yeah, these guys are legit, right? Like I totally, I know you and have done some stuff with Rob before in the past. I'm like, yeah, I'd totally love to do that because it's open again. And so I think that's awesome. Here's a question I have. So somebody comes in, they're drawn to you guys, they see Bonnie, they see the story you're talking about, they're all excited, they buy the training, and then they get in. We've all done it, so this isn't to discredit anybody, right? We've all looked at stuff and been like, uh-oh, right? Like, I've got to do something here, and I'm uncomfortable because I don't know exactly what to do. So what do you say to that person? What do you say to that person that's coming in and they're a little uncomfortable, they're super pumped up, but then they go to do that first thing and they're like, whoa, so what's your advice to them?
It's really simple, actually.
Yeah.
We say it over and over and over again.
We have this mantra, I guess, almost. It's like, we understand because we've done this for a long time. I mean, because we failed so much and, we've had success and failures through our own careers. And we've literally witnessed tens of thousands of people come in and do exactly what you're talking about. They come in, they get excited, and then they fail. But it's all around mindset. It's really like every single person that I've witnessed come through our program and have their breakthrough and be successful. It's very little of it is about actually emulating our process because anybody can do that. It's more about the roadblocks that present themselves that are unexpected and then overcoming those obstacles and those barriers. So that doesn't happen because of what you can go through and just rewatch the videos. Maybe you'll have a little breakthrough moment or something, but it's really about mindset. And so if you don't have the right mindset, you're going to fail at not just this, but anything in life. So we really push that into our students' minds. We know that there's three similarities between every success student we have. One is they are taking massive action on anything that they do. They have a very clear-cut goal. They know what they're doing, and then they take massive action on that. Number two, they remain very focused on that specific goal and don't get distracted like so many people do. It's one of the big success killers for people is they get distracted and they have, they get drawn into every little offer out there. And then number three is just don't give up on yourself too soon. And that's the big success killer right there. The biggest one is eventually, we all die because our heart stops, and it's the same thing in business. It's like everybody, they die because they give up, their heart gives out, and believing in something that they really believed in the beginning and they just give up. And so if you follow those three things and we really, we teach that to people on a regular basis. So I think that it really sinks in with our customers, and so many people have success because they have these breakthroughs. People have stuck around, they become successful after a number of days or weeks or even months, but they believe in it so much because we've taught them these lessons, these important mindsets that have helped carry them through.
And also, we've done things like from a strategic and logistical perspective to help people have success. All the obstacles. So the first time we released this, it was a pretty basic course. We went through 6 weeks of training with people. And then a lot of people had success, but a lot of people struggled. And we would go back and we would find out what the problems people were having were, and we would add more to it. So we added live Q&As weekly. We added, we do this sort of interactive, we call it the ad challenge. So people come in and they submit their ads, and then we give them direct feedback, and then other people can watch it and they can see that. And we've done just a number of things like this that we've added to the program so that every obstacle that people face, we've removed it. There was some technical issues that a few people ran into with setting up the page because we just run like we do the simplest possible thing we can. And so, but a few people still ran into a few tech issues. And so we broke it down into the simplest way possible. We call it our newbie proof videos. And so even if you're a grandmother who's not technically gifted, you can still figure it out as long as, like Gerry says, you take massive action and you don't give up. We've made it as simple as possible. And the actual methods that we use are really, really simple. And there's just a few, and we don't have to get too deep into it now, but there's just a few sort of like leverage points that we focus on. And if you get those things right, everything else your results shoot through the roof, and the rest is just totally simplified. Just do what we say, and
Yeah.
don't try to reinvent the wheel and figure things out on your own. Just follow the proven path.
Yeah, it's cool. I actually went through the training last night and part of today. I always do that for people. I go through it. Now, I'd already committed to you guys. I mean, being honest, I already committed to you that I was going to, promote this stuff because I knew you.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really good. Like, it was
Oh,
really
thank you.
good. And I love simple. I'm not techie at all. I love simple. And being a previous Facebook ad guy, I'm like a retired Facebook ads guy. But you guys hit on all the things that move the needle and left out all the stuff that, is minutia, right? That people can get caught up in worrying about. So I thought it was great for the hours that I watched it. I thought it was really good.
Oh, great. Thank
I
you.
think people will see that. Yeah, for sure. But it was great. The ad stuff and everything you did was concise, but simple. And I think people sometimes think that stuff has just got to be this complicated, mess. And I think that really good teachers simplify it. I think you guys did that. And that's because you do it. Now, I'm assuming that you guys are both still, super affiliates. You're still
Yeah.
running traffic and doing your
Yeah,
thing.
ClickBank and CPA, and not just ClickBank anymore, but yeah, we do multiple different offers all around the net.
Yeah, cool. Do you have a favorite niche or anything that you like to serve?
I mean, we do primarily weight loss offers, but we really do like the big three niches, health, wealth, and relationships. They tend to be like, those are the niches where they appeal to the entire population of Earth rather than just some little thing. So when we tap in and we get something that's working, we can scale to a grand scale. And, that's where you hit financial freedom point. Like if you're focusing on some little niche, you're going to create income, and then you get caught into this treadmill effect and this grind of just having to redo everything all the time. But if you find something that's working that can be scaled, you find something that's working, you spend $20 or whatever, and you find something that's winning ad or whatever it is, then you know that it's working at $20. You test it at 200, you test it at 1,000, you test it at 5,000. Before you know it, you're making 20K a day. You can kind of step back and let that play itself out over weeks or months. And I know you've told me similar stories about some niches that you ran too, where they were scalable to a degree, and you over 90 days you made like so much money off of running a single ad, that you tapped into for an offer. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the hardest thing. Yeah, I'm going to ask you guys this in a second. I'll tell my own personal story. So I worked for Perry and Ryan, but I'd been in Frank's mastermind prior to that. But I'd never really done anything, right? Like I was like the guy and I'm in all this stuff, but I'm not doing anything. And the
Yeah.
first time I sold something online was Coffee Shop Millionaire. And I was like $600 in the hole, but I got a sale. And I was like, man, right? Like this works. Like people
Yeah.
buy this stuff.
Yeah.
And so when did you guys get your first sale? Like what's your first sales story where you're like, oh man, I can make a living here?
Well, I'll tell my story, and I'm gonna like refrain from talking about my first dollar online because that was like 15 years ago, and talk about my first dollar made through paid traffic, which is really what we focus on and we feel like is the peak of the mountain. And this is where I like to get newbies and experienced people started at the peak, at this base of the peak, and just go up to the peak, just expedite real success and get real financial freedom, rather than starting 15 years ago where I started, where your path is going to be 15 years. Let's just take you straight to the top now. My first dollar made through paid traffic was after I met you. You were already doing it, and you were part of my inspiration story. Actually, like, yeah, this stuff works. But
That's not real bright. If he can do it, I can do it, right?
I never claimed to be the brightest guy in the world.
Yeah.
No, I had this guy that was, came to us, and he was making like $20 a day or something, running ads on Facebook, and we got in and helped him. He leveraged us because we had marketing skills, but not because we had run ads before. We'd never run ads, and so we got in there and we leveraged our own experiences at selling and promoting and just the psychology layer of marketing, just all of our understandings that we got through tens of thousands of hours of studying this stuff, applied it to his little funnel, and he went from making $20 a day to like $500 a day within like a week or two just by applying the stuff. And I realized at that moment, I was like, whoa, well, wait a second. I mean, first I was like, cool, that's awesome. But then I was like, wait a second. Because if I can do that in a week, well, imagine what I can do. I want to do this myself, first of all, and I want to see what I'm capable of, right? So I got in there and started working with him, took the same funnel that I had helped develop for him, and within another couple of weeks, we were doing $5,000 a day. And my first day, I think I made, $500. It was like I invested on a small scale. I saw that it worked, and then I just scaled up really quickly. And so that was my first experience, and I was like, whoa, this is where it's at. Like paid media, that's where it's at. I knew all along that like the most successful people that I knew in the world of online marketing were running paid ads. And I just didn't know how to get into it. I didn't know how to get started because there's not a whole lot of courses out there that teach this stuff. It's like there's people out there doing it. There's not a lot of people that are teaching it for whatever reason. And so, yeah, my that was my first experience making money with paid ads, and it was just a huge eye opener for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. How about you, Rob?
My story, it wasn't that long ago that I made my first money online. It was maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. And I remember it was Traffic Geyser, and where you just spam videos over every video site on the internet.
I remember that.
Mike Keenan's, baby.
Yeah.
It's probably still running, but I'm sure plenty of people use it for like legitimate videos, but usually you just spam affiliate videos. So I remember I promoted Ted's Woodworking on ClickBank, which is still
on there.
Product on ClickBank.
It's amazing.
And I just remember I joined, and it was expensive for me, even though now it's like, it doesn't seem very expensive, but back then it was really expensive for me. And I just said, screw it, I'm going to try this. And if it works, then I'll stay a member on this thing. If it doesn't work, then whatever, screw this. And I remember I went and I made a ton of these videos that are just like basically review videos of this product, and just spammed them all over YouTube and all these other video websites. And I didn't really see too much results, and then I like quit, right? But then like after a little time where it built up, then I started getting sales, and I didn't really realize it until I got a check. Like I thought it wasn't working, and then I got a check from ClickBank, and I had stopped checking my commissions because I thought it wasn't working. They started rolling in, but they have like a threshold. So at some point it like reached some level, and I got a check, and it was something like $368 or $358, or I used to be able to remember the exact amount, but I was like, holy shit, like this is like a real check, and that was a big eye opener for me. Just the fact that you can make money online, like magically promoting other people's stuff, like not have a product and just do some little clever thing, and then somehow you magically get paid.
Yeah. I think affiliate marketing and specifically what you guys do, what I've done for years, I think it's the best business model in the world, personally. I mean, you've got no merchant accounts, you've got no customer service, you've got great product owners that provide great value, that have super offers, and all you have to do is, kind of do your thing. And there's this unlimited pool of people that, you can solve their problem by bringing this offer to their attention, and bam. So, you guys.
Somehow it's like these vendors, they're never like traffic guys. They need us to come in and just like help them, and they'll bend over backwards and do all the work. And it's like, oh, just run traffic.
And on top of it, they'll give you 90% of the commission, in many cases. 70 to 9, if you become a super affiliate, they'll bump you up to 90%. So you make $100, you're getting 90, and they're getting $10, and that's an amazing arrangement for us.
It sounds pretty impressive to somebody who's done any kind of internet marketing, but if you ever tell it to somebody who's done like commission sales, like in the brick and mortar sales or whatever, they're like, 90%? What
they don't believe
crazy? It's like 10%
or 3%.
Yeah, 3%.
Like on Amazon or something, or eBay. It's like 5%.
Or selling a car.
Yeah.
it's always fun to get new people that have new offers, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I was thinking about 20% commission," and I'm like, "Oh no, let me explain how this works, right?"
Right.
So yeah, here's the thing too. I think that one of the things that I tell people, I want to get your take on this. So, Amazon is huge, right? Because they have this
Yeah.
enormous marketplace. And I think what people don't understand, I like to build lists. I obviously have an audience. That's one of the reasons that we're talking. So I think that's a great model, but it takes time to build that, right? You got to build this audience. You got to have this following. Amazon took years to build. If you don't have an audience, paid traffic is the best way to piggyback off of someone else's audience, like a Facebook or whatever platform you want to use. They've got these massive audiences and you're just kind of renting them, right? And putting
Mhm.
it with affiliate marketing. So with you guys and paid traffic now sort of opening up, would you ever go do anything else? I mean, maybe one day, right? You might do something, but right now it's the best model out there, I think.
It's less about finding something else to do, because I'm a firm believer that this is the best thing to do, period. Just like you said. What I would, in the future, I could imagine going to a different platform other than network like Facebook may not always be the happening place to be, the hottest place to be. Because what happens is over time, you'll see like Google ads came out, Google came out and you could tap into their audience, right? And that used to be like, if you got in early on that, you had an opportunity to like really make some money. Over time, though, it becomes so competitive and the prices go up so much that you can no longer come in there as a newbie and make money with it. However, Facebook, happens to be like the new kid on the block for ads, and people that are coming in there, this is the prime time to get in and do it. You have a few years to get in there and make a killing off of it before it becomes more competitive too. And then eventually another platform will open up, another social media platform probably will open up and become the next big thing. So for us as paid media guys, nowadays it's just a matter of like, I know I can see down the future, down the path. It's just going to be like recognizing the next platform where, marketers haven't come in and just really, like saturated it, but that's not now. Now it's really all about Facebook.
Yeah, I always tell people the medium doesn't matter, right? People always say, "Oh, is it gonna stop working?" And it's like fifth grade
Right.
math never stops working, right?
Our
It's
swipe
Right.
files are like ads from like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
yeah,
Literally, like the techniques and the marketing techniques that we're using, they they worked 50 years ago. They worked 70 years ago. As long as people have been selling stuff, the psychology that drives people's desire to want or to buy or to need something, all of those things, there's human needs, that we're tapping into. They never change. They never change. It's just they go to different places to buy, so we have to like track them, and go where they're going,
Your
yeah.
kids are probably like, "What's Facebook?"
Yeah, someday.
So like at some point it'll shift somewhere
Something
else.
else. We're always looking at like Snapchat or Instagram, or something like that, and thinking like, is that going to be the next platform to hop on? But so
But
far,
not
it's
yet.
it's Facebook. It's Facebook.
Yeah, I think that's cool. You guys said something in the training that I just want to touch on real quick. You did say something about when you know how to do it, so the strategy, right? Instead of you just giving an ad, which, you give a bunch of examples and stuff, but instead of just saying, hey, go run this ad, you show people how to create really awesome, compelling ads, and then they know how to do it. So then they can shift with the shift. And I think that's really
Mhm.
important. If you understand the strategies, then you can make those shifts.
Yeah. And
So,
I tell you, Rob and I were like, man, I wonder how many success students we actually have, and we never had any tracking in place in our program to like really monitor that outside of people just coming to us and saying, I'm so happy I made my first sale or I've made my first $1,000 day or whatever. But we had ClickBank, and I have my
oh, yeah.
there, and Rob and I, we even had a mastermind here, and ClickBank actually sent people out to join us out here in Bali. But ClickBank comes to me and says, "Do you know this guy or this girl or this person?" Because they just landed on the top of our leaderboard, our internal private leaderboard, and they're doing the same things that you're teaching. And I'll look through our back end of our management console, and I'll say, yeah, they're a student. Like, okay, I thought so. So we see sort of that way, all these success students, and they don't really, once they get to the point where they're self-sustaining success, like we don't really hear from them, a lot of them again. Some of them, they stick around, they become a mentor and, work within the side of our inner circle. And then some of them, they just go off and they just live, this great lifestyle, because they know how to do it on their own.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Yeah. That's awesome. Right. Like that's a job you want to have. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time. Anything else like to add to people? We didn't get too deep, but I think you guys, shared some really good stuff, and I think people can tell your energy and kind of what you're all about a little bit. So that's sort of what I wanted.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having us. And I don't think there's really much else to say. Just join. I mean, maybe we can do another presentation, get deeper into the actual content, and share with people what we're doing. And I think that's probably the next step.
Yeah, I figure we're going to do this so that people can get to know who you guys are. Because a lot of times in the presentation, you got a lot of stuff to cover. They're already long because you're trying to explain to people what you do and to do the training, but you don't really get to know like what's this guy all about, right? Like who is he? Who are they? What are they all about? And so I thought this would be a great time, especially because I hadn't caught up with you guys for a while. So it's like, hey, let's do this and. I'll pimp it all over YouTube and my list and get you guys.
And then eventually we're going to twist your arm and get you to come over to Bali so you can be sitting here with us.
I can't wait to do that. That's like the worst thing, by the way. I look at your Facebook and you're like, hey, do you want to come to the mastermind? So thank you for that. And I'm like, dude, I have a toddler. So like everything is like a year-long planning adventure for me. So I was all bummed out because I'm like, I kind of look at my wife and I'm like, oh, Gary asked me to go to Bali. And she looked at me like, not if, that's exactly the look. And so I'm like, okay, I'll tell him next time.
Yeah, and we had so much fun here too. We invited all these people out to Bali. Just last week, they left right in my property here. We had like over 140 people do like this fire. I don't know what you call it. Ritual. Yeah, it's a Balinese fire ritual, blowing fire in the sky, and it was just amazing kind of stuff happening over here in Bali. So yeah, we try to get our students, to come over and get involved with this, freedom lifestyle kind of stuff as well. And yeah, we'll definitely invite you to come to the next one.
Yeah.
In case your changes their mind.
I'd like that. Yeah, man, it'd be fun. So
bring the toddler.
Yeah, bring the toddler.
I would love to do that. A little heads up. I don't know what he would be like on a plane. That would take some serious tranquilizers to make that happen. So, but I appreciate you guys being on here. I'm going to go ahead and kill the recording. One thing I am going to say though is that you start to do this and you start to make a lot of money. And you do start to change lives and change your life. And I remember as a kid, I mean, my parents did pretty well, but hell, I wasn't even on a plane till I was in college. And now you got people traveling all across the world, and our world's getting smaller. And I think now is the time to really jump in. If you want to do something online, I think now is the time to do it. So now I appreciate you guys. Let me go ahead and finish this up here so we can talk about people. That way we're not on record. So